A new nationwide study has presented evidence suggesting that gun deaths in the U.S. could be reduced by more than 90% by implementing 3 specific gun safety laws. This is not about grabbing guns. It's not about President Obama showing up at your house with a big pillowcase and demanding that you toss your guns into it, never to see them again. Nothing like that. This is a study published in The Lancet. It's called the Firearm Legislation and Firearm Mortality in the USA study. It is a cross-sectional state-level study, and the study found that despite the wide range of legislation that's often employed at individual states, very few of the existing laws were actually effective, right? Some of those that restrict gun access to children through locks and age restrictions, they have not been proven to be particularly effective. Let's look at the 3 suggestions that the study says would potentially reduce gun deaths by 90%. Number 1, universal background checks for firearms, period. Number 2, universal background checks for ammunition. Very, very important point. You could get the gun illegally, and then it's very easy to get ammunition. Well, no, universal background checks for ammunition. And then number 3, firearm identification. So what is firearm identification, Lewis? This refers to micro-stamping and ballistic fingerprinting of firearms. The idea is it places a unique identifier on the primer and or the bullet, which is tied to a specific gun. The problem is, Maryland has tried this. It failed rather expensively. The reading I've done on it suggests that after a few hundred rounds, the micro stamp on the firing pin becomes very worn, that it really doesn't work well anymore. So very, very interesting. This is very specific, Lewis. It's not about grabbing guns, firearm identification, some logistical issues, but very interesting.
Well, there's also serial numbers on guns, right? I mean, it's illegal to have a gun that does not have the serial number. The serial number, I suppose, could end up being useless depending on the life of that firearm. But that seems like just a fine way to have weapon identification as well.
And a big issue also is state versus federal laws. And I think a big barrier here is the fact that so-called unidentified guns are so available. By bringing a gun across state lines, it makes any state-level gun identification program sort of pointless. So some are saying, well, David, the reason it failed partially in some states is this really needs to be a federal level. All 3 of these laws should be federal laws. These 3 laws should be completely uncontroversial. I mean, really, there is nothing controversial about these laws, but somehow it's very controversial because of freedom, liberty, and Wayne LaPierre.
Yeah, the NRA definitely has convinced people that, I don't know, what does the NRA convince people of? That anyone, no matter what, should be able to have a gun?
More guns, more places. That is directly connected to liberty.
Because if you ask someone, even someone who's really pro-gun,
yeah,
should a violent criminal be able to own a weapon, I believe they're going to say no.
Well, yes, but that's because they don't even necessarily consider criminals as people, right? I mean, they want criminals to lose all rights, period. Voting, working, anything you can think of, welfare access when they get out.
But they're against the laws like the ones we're proposing here when it comes to gun control.
Yeah, well, you cherry pick. You cherry pick, Lewis. You know how it works on the right here.
I just have to point it out. I know.
Send me your thoughts on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at @dpakman. Lewis is on Twitter, of course, at Lewis Motomedy. Approaching 1,000 followers is Lewis. Warby Parker is offering a free 5-day home try-on to give you the opportunity to check out their glasses. I personally wear Warby Parker glasses when I'm not wearing my contact lenses. And I also started with one of these free at-home try-ons of 5 pairs of glasses. You can get your free home try-on and support the David Pakman Show at warbyparkertrial.com/TDPS. I don't really like going into glasses stores and trying on glasses while the salesperson sort of hovers over me. And I like more than 30 seconds to actually figure out whether I like the glasses. So with the Warby Parker home try-on, I was able to pick 5 pairs that I liked, put them on in the comfort of my own home, pick the one I like the most, and then Warby Parker put my prescription lenses in there for me. A lot of people don't know that the eyeglass industry is controlled by just a few big corporations that keep prices very high, like $300 for prescription glasses high, which is just insane. Warby Parker glasses start at $95. That's what mine cost. And for every pair of glasses sold, Warby Parker distributes a pair of glasses
to someone in need. You can try 5 pairs and see what you like. Check out the at-home trial and support our show by going to warbyparker.com/TDPS. It costs nothing.